threat actors, attacks, and mitigation. A threat actor or malicious actor is a person or entity that is responsible for an event or incident that impacts or has the potential to impact the safety or security of another entity. Threat actor categories: script kiddies, hacktivists, organized crime, nation states, APT, advanced persistent threats, insiders, and competitors. Main threats to an organization are things you have to consider: natural environmental threats, supply system threats, man-made threats, social or political threats. Malware is any software that is intentionally designed to cause damage to a computer, a server, a client, or computer network. A malware is a set of instructions that run on your computer and make your system do something that an attacker wants it to do. Malware types can be in the form of worms, viruses, trojans, logic bombs, adware, rootkits, spyware, ransomware, and backdoors. And these can impact the information system by stealing protected data that you have, deleting documents that you have that maybe are critical, performing click fraud where it's monitoring your clicking on the keyboard or in that type of frame, and it's capturing that information. Stealing software serial numbers. For example, if I buy software or if I have software, if I steal the serial numbers, I may be able to replicate the software or claim that the software is mine. And then finally, adding software not approved by a user and using your computer as a relay for other attacks. For example, a botnet. Worms are self-replicating pieces of code that attempt to penetrate networks and computer systems. Once a penetration occurs, the worm will create a new copy of itself on the penetrated system. A virus is a piece of a malicious code that replicates by attaching itself to another piece of executable code. Trojan horse is a piece of software that appears to do one thing but hides some other functionality. Spyware, it is malware that can be put in someone's computer to secretly gather information about the user and relay it to advertisers, to other interested parties. It can get in a computer as software virus or as the result of installing a new program. Adware, it is a type of malware that bombards you with endless ads and pop-ups windows that could be potentially dangerous for your device. It is a type of software that shows ads. Most adware are safe, but some can gather your personal information. Rootkits are a form of malware that is specifically designed to modify the operation of the operating system in some fashion to facilitate non-standard functionality. A backdoor. This refers to a program or programs that attackers have installed after gaining unauthorized access to a system to ensure that they can continue to have unrestricted access to the system, even if their initial access method is discovered or blocked. Logic bombs are malicious code objects that infect a system and lie dormant until they are triggered by the occurrence of one or more conditions such as time, program launch, website logon, and so on. Ransomware. This is a type of malware that attempts to extort money from the computer user by infecting and taking control of a victim's machine or files or documents stored on it. How does it spread? It usually installed when you open malicious email attachment or click a malicious link in an email, an instant message, or even if you visit a malicious website. How do you prevent this? Keep all of the software on your computer up to date. Keep your firewall turned on. Don't open spam messages or click links on suspicious websites. Let's talk about different malware attacks. Coveter. It's a Trojan, which has been observed acting as click fraud malware or ransomware downloader. Some of you may have heard of WannaCry. It's a ransomware worm that encrypts your files and asks for ransom or money in the form of cryptocurrency. Zeus, or Zbot, is a modular banking Trojan which uses keystroke logging to compromise victims' credentials when the user visits a banking website. Ghost, it's a remote access Trojan used to control infected endpoints. Ghost is dropped by other malware to create a backdoor into the device, allowing an attacker to fully control the infected device. And finally, Mirai is a malware botnet known to compromise the Internet of Things, or IoT, devices in order to conduct a large-scale distributed denial of service, or DDoS, attack. Mirai is dropped after an exploit has allowed the attacker to gain access to the machine. Let's talk about a denial of service attack. It can exploit a known vulnerability in a specific application or operating system, or they can attack features or weaknesses in specific protocols or services. The purpose of a denial attack service can be simply to prevent access to the target system, or the attack can be used in conjunction with other actions to gain unauthorized access to a computer or network. This can be accomplished by crashing the system, taking it offline, or by sending so many requests that the machine is simply overwhelmed. Let's talk about a distributed denial of service. A DOS attack employs multiple attacking systems, is known as a distributed denial of service. The goal of a distributed denial of service attack is also to deny the use or access to a specific service or system. A network of attack agents, sometimes called zombies, is created by the attacker to launch the attack. Several recent denial of service or distributed denial of service attacks. We had GitHub on February 28th of 2018. GitHub, a popular developer platform, was hit with a sudden onslaught of traffic that clocked in at 1.3 terabits per second. If that sounds a lot, it is. That's because the traffic not only was so massive, it was record-breaking. It shut everything down. The pop vote, DDoS, was carried out in 2014 and targeted the Hong Kong-based grassroots movement known as Occupy Central. The movement was campaigning for a more democratic voting system. Another one in 2014, security provider and content delivery network Cloudflare was slammed by approximately 400 gigabits per second of traffic. The attack was directed at a single Cloudflare computer and targeted servers in Europe and was launched with the help of a vulnerability in the Network Time Protocol, or NTP, for computer clock synchronization. Let's talk a little bit about application attacks. An application layer attack targets computers by deliberately causing a fault in a computer's operating system or applications. This results in the attacker gaining the ability to bypass normal access controls. The application layer, or layer 7, attacks refer to a type of malicious behavior designed to target the top layer of that OSI model. Different types of application layer attacks are, for example, cross-site scripting, buffer overflow, denial of service, or distributed denial of service. A SQL injection, domain name system or DNS spoofing, domain hijacking. Software codes and security. There's no doubt that a developer's programming practices play a massive role in the security of software, apps, databases, and all other electronic systems. This places a major responsibility on programmers everywhere to write safe, high-quality code as often as possible. Now, the original code, or otherwise known as source code, is a set of instructions and statements written by the programmer using a computer programming language. Code review is a systematic examination, or sometimes referred to as a peer review, of computer source code. It is intended to find mistakes overlooked in the initial development phase, improving the overall quality of the software. Several testing methods that are used. Static testing. This evaluates the security of software without running it. Dynamic testing. This evaluates the security of the software in a runtime environment and is often the only option for organizations deploying applications by someone else. Here's some recent security attacks. The Sachs, Lord & Taylor. Near the end of March, security firm Gemini Adversary came across an announcement from the Joker Stash hacking syndicate offering 5 million stolen credit and debit cards up for sale. On May 31st, Ticketfly suffered an attack that resulted in the concert and sporting event ticketing website being vandalized, taken down, and disrupted for a week. Can you imagine how much that might cost? Russian hackers have made millions selling credit card details stolen from almost 245,000 British Airways customers during a major cyber attack in August, according to experts. Now let's talk a little bit about social engineering. It is the art of manipulating people so they give up confidential information and violate the security principle. Social engineering can be broken down into many categories. Phishing is similar to fishing in a lake, attempt to steal your personal information. They send out emails that appear to come from legitimate websites. Spear phishing is a little bit different. It's a variation on phishing in which hackers send emails to a group of people with specific common characteristics or other identifiers. Whale phishing is a term used to describe a phishing attack that is specifically aimed at the wealthy, the powerful, or prominent individuals. Let's talk about some recent social engineering attacks. Several people lost thousands of dollars in cryptocurrency after the Ethereum Classic website was hacked back in 2017. Using social engineering, hackers impersonated the owner of Classic Ether wallet, gained access to the domain registry, and then redirected the domain to their own server. Criminals extracted Ethereum cryptocurrency from the victims after entering a code on the website that allowed them to view private keys that were then used for transactions.